lyrics person or are you a melody person?
God. If I listen to a song, the first thing I will obviously gravitate towards is the melody if I really like it. But the minute I like the melody, the first thing I do is I look up the lyrics.
हेलो चिंगारियंस, आज हमारे साथ चिंगारी गपशप पे एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग, एक बहुत ही स्पेशल आर्टिस्ट हैं. वी हैव विद अस निकिता मेहता, जो हमसे बात कर रही हैं ऑल द वे फ्रॉम LA, जो एक ब्रेक थ्रू स्टार हैं. उनको ये कहना बिल्कुल गलत नहीं होगा. वो एक सिंगर हैं, एक सॉन्ग राइटर हैं, एक इंडिपेंडेंट आर्टिस्ट हैं और उनके म्यूजिक में बहुत अलग ही वाइब आती है. यू गोइंग टू गेट सम पॉप, यू गोइंग टू गेट सम R&B एंड यू गोइंग टू गेट सम इन्फ्लुएंसेस फ्रॉम इंडिया एज वेल. तो एक ब्लेंड है जिसको निकिता, फर्स्टली वेलकम टू चिंगारी गपशप, एंड सेकेंडली यू call this new genre goddess pop, जो काफी it sounded really interesting to me, something new to me. So सबसे पहले tell us a little more about goddess pop. How did this idea come about and how do you present it?
Well, Samrita, first of all, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
The idea came about when I was actually writing Goddess, which was one of my singles that I during the pandemic. And we were writing it back in, I think, like 2017, which was when we first started writing a whole bunch of music, me and my longtime producer Mukund. And we started to realize, like, okay, this is pop, but it doesn't really fit into any specific box. Like, I can't be like, oh, this is like straight pop compared to like XYZ artist. So we're like, let's just start, I feel like we could just call this goddess pop. So that's like the short version of where it came from. But then when I finally started to put out more and more music and people asked me what my sound was and I started calling it that, it started to have like a bigger meaning to it, because I feel like I was raised really, really spiritual, and my understanding of femininity wasn't just like, plain one-dimensional, like you have to be a certain type of way to be feminine. No, you can be feminine and also be fierce. You can be feminine and also be angry. You can be feminine and also be really just confident. Like all of these different aspects that we're not really taught, but like that was actually really part of ancient philosophies and goddess philosophies. So that's where kind of goddess pop came from.
Yeah, it sounds so interesting. It's nice to know that, what you are promoting is a very empowered kind of femininity, which is not just about being coy and shy. It's about being fierce and confident and aggressive if need be. So that's great. Also, Nikita, आपका जो latest गाना है, जो मैं आज सुन रही थी before we started the interview, Bad Trip, Sitam. Tell us something more about it. ये idea कहाँ से आया? Because it sounds very, like I said, it sounds very empowering. It sounds like एक message जो आप देना चाहते हो to people watching you.
All of these songs that have been coming out, I've been sitting with them, stewing with them for a while now. So even this one, started writing it in 2018. And तभी ये गाना, मतलब इसका नाम Bad Trip नहीं था. It was a whole different song. And it slowly became Bad Trip. The one thing that was still there, even in that version of the song, was the Sitam, the Hindi part of the song. That was there since the beginning. But वो पहले bridge हुआ करता था गाने का, जो Western music में bridge बोलते हैं, जो it comes towards the end of the song. And it only happens once. And then when I wrote it, that was the first time I had mixed English and Hindi together in a song while writing. And I just had this, the whole time that I've been trying to figure out how to restructure this song, because I felt like the production wasn't right. First it felt like the production wasn't right, then it felt like the lyrics weren't all right. Like nothing felt correct about it until that Sitam part became the chorus. And I started to rewrite the song from that perspective. So the song was originally about a relationship that I was still kind of semi-in, on again, off again at the time. And it was very emotionally just toxic for me. Wasn't good for me at all on any level. And I realized that the reason that I couldn't put out the song the way it was because it was just extremely angry and I was just not in that place anymore. So I started to rewrite the song rather than have it be about that anger, have it be about like the ups and downs of when you leave someone, what it's like, and it's been toxic for you, what it's like to walk away from that, and it starts to feel like, okay, I'm good, I'm over this. Okay, I'm not. Okay, back up. Like this roller coaster ride.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is so relatable to so many people because I think almost everyone goes through not so great a relationships at some point in their life. And when it comes from the heart, when you're feeling it, that's when the connect happens with the audience also. But music is a business of the heart, I guess. It has to come from the heart. That's when it reaches.
Yeah.
But tell me, Nikita, three things that give you a bad trip. What would that be?
Oh my God. Oh God. 3 things that give me a bad trip. No food. Can't do it.
No food.
No food, can't do it. I feel like every hour on the hour I have to be eating something. I'm just one of those people. I need to be eating something. No chocolate. If you tell me I can't eat chocolate, it's the worst idea ever. And traffic. Terrible traffic. I grew up in Mumbai. I dealt with terrible traffic in Mumbai, and then I moved to LA, the other city with the worst traffic known to man. Like
as bad as Mumbai?
It's not as bad in terms of it's more organized because you have to follow rules here. But once you're stuck on because everywhere you go you have to use a highway.
Oh, you follow rules there? That's very unrelated.
Yeah, I know, right? But everywhere you go you have to use a highway, and then if the highway is blocked, then you're stuck for as long as it takes to clear the highway.
Oh, God. Okay, so no food, no chocolate, and traffic.
No chocolate. Please.
Just take a bad trip away. Also, tell me something about how is it to be an independent artist? Because as outsiders, what we hear sometimes is that it's usually more difficult for an independent artist to carve a niche for themselves as opposed to people who would be doing commercial films or something like that. So, what is your take on that?
It is difficult. It is actually very difficult because in every sense of the word, in terms of your budget for anything, whether it's a music video, whether it's mixing a song, whether it's press for the song, whether it's marketing, and whether it's anything, your budget's going to be smaller because you are smaller, right? In terms of size, you're not this huge company with this huge label with just huge everything. And then if you think about it even further, your team is going to be smaller along with that, right? So there's less for you to delegate and more for you to learn. In some ways, I feel like I don't like comparing the two necessarily, because I feel like being a commercial artist comes with its own set of struggles. It is equally as hard, but in different ways. It's just they're tough in different ways. There's certain things that an independent artist has to do that a commercial artist will never have to do, and there's some things that a commercial artist has to do that an independent artist will not have to do until they get to that point, right? So I don't think it's like necessarily the most fair comparison ever, but I do think that you have to hustle a little bit harder, and that you have to constantly choose to learn and evolve. Constantly, because you're picking up, like, for example, for me, during the pandemic, and even after the pandemic for a long period of time, working on videos, I'm part of the editing process of the video. Most major label artists or people who are working on film don't have to worry about that, right? But I have to worry about that. I have to get involved. I have to make sure everything's going on tracks. For them, there's somebody on their team who takes care of that. So things like that. Those are the the big differences, and they can feel like one is struggling more than the other, but it's always grass is greener on the other side. And I have friends who are commercially super successful, and they have their own struggles. So
I guess they lack the freedom that an independent artist has.
Exactly.
Want to make.
Yeah. For example, like for me, if I have to step out of my house and just go wherever I can, for somebody who's incredibly famous, they can't. I have the freedom to leave my house right now and do whatever I want. Do they have that freedom? Possibly not. Maybe not.
Nikita, I was reading about you, and you mentioned somewhere that your mom has obviously been a great influence in your life, and you used to enjoy 60s, 70s music initially as a child. So, any favorites? Are they Hindi classics, or what is it that you remember from that time?
I mean, she would pretty much sing everything alongside me. She would sing everything from like stuff like Lag Ja Gale to Asha Bhosle classics to Lata Mangeshkar, to like just everything, to Mohammad Rafi, like Kishore Kumar, like everything. Jaane jaan, मेरा ये हुस्न जवां 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 तेरे लिए है आस लगाए ओ जालिम आ जाना इस दिल पर जो सितम किए आपने कोई मरहम या दुआ दे दे हमें इस दिल पर जो सितम किए आपने सितम किए आपने सितम किए आपने I'm praying, forgive him, mother, he don't know the things he do to me. Forgive him, mother, forgive him, sitam kiye, sitam kiye. Just a bad trip coming up and sitam kiye, sitam kiye. Forgive him, mother, forgive him.
So, any favorite artist that you would be awestruck working with?
Oh, wow. I have a list. I definitely have a list. I think I would absolutely love to work with John Bellion. I love John Bellion's music. I love the way he writes. He writes, produces, sings, makes it. He's insane. Anybody that listens to his music or doesn't listen to his music, highly encourage. It's the most incredible music, and just the lyrical content is just so beautiful. Absolutely love. I also love Chloe and Halle. They are so amazing. They're young. You can't call them up and coming anymore. They're signed to Beyonce. They're wonderful. Halle Bailey is also the one playing Ariel in the live action Little Mermaid. So absolutely adore. And then in terms of the diaspora, I think I would personally love to work with Anik Khan. I have adored Anik Khan for a very long time. He's a rapper. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. So yeah, I would pick those three right now.
All right, that's quite a interesting mix and a list. So
yeah.
We get to see those projects and those songs very, very soon. Also, I wanted to ask you that as a singer, are there any specific goals, because you're really young right now, are there any specific goals that you set in your head that this is where I want to reach?
I mean, I feel like every singer and every artist has those big aspirations, right? You want to do a big tour, you want to be on a big stage, you want to do like big budget stuff. I think that's always a great goal to have, and always something that I try to constantly keep working towards and chipping away at. I feel like there's so many artists that talk about this, right? They'll get on an interview. I think the last one I saw was LMI. I don't know if you're familiar with LMI, but she's an R&B artist. She ended up collaborating with Chris Brown on a remix version of her song because her song blew up so much. And she got on an interview, and the interviewer asked her, like, what does it feel like to be an overnight success? And she looked at the interview and she was like, you're kidding, right? Like, I've been doing this for so long. It's just for you, it looks like an overnight success. So I think like you always have to keep chipping away at it. But I think that's something that's a big goal for me, apart from like the typical goals that are there for singers, is just I feel like apart from those like very traditional goals, for me as a singer personally, every time I perform or I put out music, the one thing that means the most to me is the people that will like DM me or like find me somehow and be like, Your music inspires me so much. It helped me walk away from a bad relationship. It helped me take better care of myself. It helped me put myself first. It helped me set boundaries. Like, those are the things that really, really keep me going. When I see that people are actually empowered, because for me, that's why I write, is for that sense of empowerment for myself and for other people. Like, when I actually see that happen, that's like the biggest reward for me. Like, if I can keep doing that, I'll be very happy.
Awesome. So it's about empowering the masses pretty much.
Yeah.
Giving them strength through your music.
Yes. Yeah.
Lyrics person, or are you a melody person, if you have to choose one?
Oh my God. Okay. So it's a quick 1-2 punch with me. I will, if I listen to a song, the first thing I will obviously gravitate towards is the melody if I really like it. But the minute I like the melody, the first thing I do is I look up the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because I am such a stickler for good lyrics. So it's like within 10 seconds of liking a song, because the melody, I'm already looking up the lyrics of a song.
Yeah. Great. So tell me something about your upcoming projects. What are you working on? What do we expect next?
I actually just shot yesterday. Spent the whole night shooting for a music video for my next song. It's called Apsara. It's almost entirely in Hindi. I'm very, very excited for it because I think it's the first songs that I wrote for myself that was entirely in Hindi without any assistance. And I really, really enjoyed working on it. And some of my closest friends are actually in the video. So it felt really cool to work on a video with my friends. So yeah, that's my next release that you get to look forward to. That's going to drop later next month.
Wow. So considering obviously your music is autobiographical, the name Apsara suggests that you're out of the bad trip and you're in a goddess zone now, huh?
Yes.
All right. So we'll wait for the song next month. But just that we're talking right now, is it possible to give us a little glimpse of the song, if you wouldn't mind that?
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can sing some for you.
Yes, please.
You'd
And
like
it's in
that?
Hindi, so it's even better for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
ढूंढने में लगे हैं मुझे deep in the jungle I whisper their names चाहे तो भी मुझे कैसे भूलें they dream of my song they follow my ways आज़मा ले तू भी देख आता हूँ या ना मेरा तो बन जाएगा बस होके बंजारा जो भी सुने हो जाए दीवाना मदहोश होके बेगाना सुन ले तू भी ये फसाना जो भी सुने कहे कि मैं हूँ अप्सरा सुन मेरी पुकार मैं हूँ अप्सरा सुन मेरी पुकार.
Wow, awesome. This is going to be super hit. All the best for it.
Thank you.
I love the fact that, like I just said before, that from the whole relationship leaving zone, it was giving me goosebumps actually. I'm not kidding. When you were talking about Main Apsara, Sun Le Tu Zara, it was like, yeah, I am the woman. You need to listen to me and you need to give me that attention that I deserve. So
Yes.
great. All the best, Nikitaa. Looking forward to a lot of work that we would be enjoying, which you would be, of course, making. And it was lovely talking to you. I hope you had a nice time too.
I had a great time talking to you, Samrita. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine.
ऐसे ढेर सारे एंटरटेनिंग वीडियोस के लिए डाउनलोड करें चिंगारी ऐप।